Hi Shogi fans, this is Shogi lesson number 40. Well, you know what? This is the final lesson of how to play Shogi. Isn't it dramatic that it ends right at 40, which is the number of the pieces in Shogi? So, first of all, I want to thank you all who've been watching all through these videos, and those who've been helping me by making subtitles, presenting the videos in other websites, and giving me good advice, etc. So thank you so much. But my Shogi videos won't be over yet. It's just that the first part of my lesson has ended. After this, we'll go into the second part, which is a collection of many exercise problems. I'll give you many problems for you to solve in the second part. And also, as you might already know, I'll keep making other video series such as famous games, famous made problems, and also Jousekis lessons. So I hope you keep in touch. So, this last video for part 1 would be my final advice to you all who want to become stronger Shogi players. There are several things I want you to remember when you try to become a good player. In the videos so far, I made them hoping that you come to like Shogi and have fun with it. But in the advice today, maybe I'll have to say some strict things to you, and perhaps it's boring. So, if you're just interested in playing Shogi for fun, you don't have to listen to my advice at all. But I believe those who've been watching all the way to 40 must be motivated enough to want to be good players. So, I'll give you the advice anyway. Okay, first of all, learn Jousekis. Jouseki is a treasure house of tactics. So, when you learn it, it's pointless if you're just trying to remember all the moves. It is important that you try to understand the reasons behind them. In that way, you can learn lots of tactics behind. And also, you'll be able to take advantage of a situation when your opponent made a wrong move, right? So, for instance, in this position, Jouseki tells us to go gold 7h. But you have to learn why not going pawn 2d, right? Well, if you're playing Gote, you have to know this tactic. And you don't take it with the rook. You drop a pawn here. Another example. At this position, one of Gote's Jouseki is this. But what are you going to do if your opponent exchanges the bishops and drop it on here? You have to know the countermeasure for this move when you learn the Jouseki, right? Oh, and I suggest you learn one Jouseki deeply rather than learning lots of Jousekis, because in that way you can have your forte. Alright, now second of all, solve mate problems. Solving mate problems is a very good way of training your reading ability. I suggest you solve realistic ones that are not too long and not too tricky. So this one, or this one, these are what you saw in lesson number 30. This type of mate problems are good for training. The mating move numbers are not too long, and their position are likely to occur in real games. Becoming good at solving mates makes it easier for you to win the games, because even when you're going to lose the game, perhaps you can find a mate that your opponent didn't realize, or make a threat mate that doesn't look like a threat mate, and make your opponent trapped. Players on my level can solve these problems in a few seconds, and professional players solve them at an instant. Okay, advice number 3 is replay professional games. This is also a very good way of learning Shogi. If you can find professional game records on the web, that's the best way. But if you can't, another video series of mine, Famous Shogi Games, would be your help. When you replay or watch professional games, try to think the next move and compare it to the move that was played. Maybe it's hard for you to understand their moves, but you can at least get some sense of how to find a good move in Shogi. And advice number 4 is play games against a bit stronger player than you. Learning only Jousekis tactics and mate problems won't do any good. You have to learn how to use them in a real game, right? So you should play games. But playing it against too much weaker or too much stronger player isn't good for your training. You should find an opponent who is a bit stronger than you. That's the best way to become stronger. Now, from this point, my advice gets more and more important. Advice number 5. Never fail to have post-game discussion. Post-game discussion is the most important thing in training your shogi ability. Well, you must already know if you've played several games before, but when you've lost a game, it feels awful. I know. Particularly when your opponent has reversed the situation and you've lost a winning game. You feel so badly that you don't even want to talk about it. But even so, have the post-game discussion and figure out why you've lost the game. That would make improvements to your shogi skill. And number 6, this is also very important. Don't ever make a do-over. A do-over, matta in Japanese, means changing the move after you've made one. Well, don't ever, I really mean never do this if you want to become a strong player. Talking about the official rules, you must not change the move after the moment where your finger releases the piece. But it's not the point here. You must think carefully enough before you make a move. And don't make a do-over even when it's a stupid move. For example, making a 2 pawns and it's 2 pawns, sorry. Or if you didn't notice bishop's diagonal and push this pawn and oops, wait. These kind of things. Don't do them. Well, keep them that way and lose the game. If you've made 2 pawns, you've lost the game. Then you won't make the same mistake again. If you make do-overs, you don't regret those moves and will make the same mistakes again. However, as I said, if you're playing shogi just for fun, do-over is okay. Especially when it's a stupid mistake. Even your opponent may want you to change it. And the last advice is, never give up. Learning shogi is a very steep mountain path. Sometimes you get stuck and you think you're never gonna be any better. But if you keep trying, someday you can go up to the next level. But if you give up, it's over. So remember this. You have failed to become a good shogi player only when you have failed to try. Alright, that's all for this series. Goodbye everyone.